Hey y'all, Mama Snout here, and welcome to episode 3 of Mama Snout Says, where we shoot the breeze on what's happening in the pop culture world, keeping all us moms in the know while sprinkling in some mom inspiration too. On today's episode, we are going to break down what's going on with the whole Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez situation. There's some real interesting things and a cautionary tale in there somewhere, and we are figuring it out together. But before we go on, I just want to add that everything I mention is just what Mama Snout says. If you have the time, please feel free to look up all the facts and figures about this particular topic. But if you only got these 10 minutes, just know that these are my opinions and just what Mama Snout says. Okay, let me fill you in. Now, it all started back in 2002. Ben and Jen made a movie together called JLO. Now, the movie didn't do so well. I saw it. It was all right. But you see, their romance, now that's what really took off. So they dated all of 2003 and were engaged by 2004. But that's it. That's where it ended for them. I can't tell you the specifics about why it ended, but they called off the engagement and went their separate ways. Now, rumors did stir about JLO's growing fame at that time. It was very welcomed for her. And Ben's growing addictions, allegedly. It was more gambling and alcohol and stuff. And really, Ben did have a very strong need for his privacy at that time. Now, while we're on the topic of fame, if you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe and follow me on all them socials. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, and I'm Mama Snout on all of them. Okay, back to the episode. So now, I don't know the specifics or anything about why they didn't make it work. But either way, throughout the past 20 years, Ben had 3 children. He had 2 girls and a boy with another Jennifer. But this was Jennifer Gardner, and I follow her on Facebook. Talk about a real wholesome gal. Her recipes are just delicious, and her smile is so warm. How he got her, I will never know. But anyway, during that time, his addictions were reported to have gotten worse, but only up until they got better, which is good. Eventually, they did get better, bless his heart. Now, as for JLO, during that time, she had actually been engaged and married to a former lover who she married again, and that's Mark Anthony. He is a spicy Latino Puerto Rican man, and he's a real salsa singing legend. And they had them 2 little fraternal twins, a little boy and a little girl during that time, okay? Now, just pushing through time, through the years, things didn't work out with these respective significant others, and that's going to bring us all the way to 2021, okay? So, in 2021, early 2021, Ben was being interviewed about something he was promoting. Anyway, they asked him about his exes. And before the article came out, he was kind enough to email JLO just to let her know that he only had good things to say about his exes. Basically, they were asking him about JLO, and he had nothing but good things to say. Okay? Well, after that, that's what you call slipping in the DMs, by the way. That's the direct message. For all of y'all that don't know, that's basically what he did. Well, suddenly, they were talking again, hanging out, and before you know it, they were back together out and about. By July of 2022, they were married. They were just together and married. Okay, now fast forward to last year, 2023. JLo was so in love, especially in love with the absolute love of her life, which is Ben, according to her, and in love with her own love story, that she had a compelling feeling to make a movie about it. Now, during the making of this film, JLo was the writer, producer, choreographer, singer, and I believe she was a director too. She was in a fantasy world, lots of colors and dancing and singing and metaphors and such. I tell you, she had a real vision for all of this, and she wanted to let everyone follow her on her journey through love and how she ended up with the love of her life, which is Ben. Still up to her. That's what she says. Well, after she put together this proposal for this movie, she went around to big name studios. Now, I don't know which ones specifically that she went around to, but we're talking about examples like Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal, studios like that, big old studios, etc. Okay? Now, none of them wanted to fund this. It appears they did not see her vision of what this was, okay? So what did JLO do? She decided to fund it herself. $20 million was what she was willing to put up to get this thing made. She was calling it her passion project and came up with the only name. The name she came up with was The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Okay? Now, from Ben's perspective, JLo was coming home strained and tired from doing all the work on this passion project, you know. Ben was sparked with a clever idea. You see, not only does Ben have his own production company, so he knows how to sell movies to big old studios, but he also won an Oscar for his work on a movie called Argo. Now, if you haven't seen that movie, that is a real good movie, by the way. But it had like a documentary spin to it. And so with that background, he thought to himself, the real drama is J-Lo at home, going through all the stress of making this movie. So Ben convinces J-Lo to film a documentary of the making of this movie. It's a real unfiltered look at J-Lo and all the behind the scenes of what's going on. Why was this clever? Well, once the project was finished, no one wanted it, which is probably why studios didn't fund it in the first place. But the unfiltered documentary, that was very interesting to all of them studios. Ben knew this and made sure that all the studios and streaming services knew that they could not buy one without the other. Basically saying they couldn't buy the documentary without buying that movie. And there you have it. And how she was able to sell this passion project and get her money back from her investment. It was finally sold to Amazon Prime, but from what I understand, it's still on there on Amazon Prime. Okay. All I can say, to be fair, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I can say it is truly revealing, and J-Lo is a very different person than she seems to me. But anyway, back to this episode. This brings us to today, okay? After reconnecting after 20 years, getting married, being together for about 2 years, and doing a whole film about the greatest love story never told, J-Lo filed for divorce on August 20th, 2024. Now, what happened specifically, I couldn't say. But, however, folks are saying that it circles right back to the first time they broke up. J-Lo loves the spotlight, letting everybody in on all of her business. Meanwhile, Ben just isn't like that. Not at all. Now, learning from this, 2 things I can say. 1, the hunger for fame and letting folks all in your business can be poisonous. Learning to keep certain things to yourself can really develop some maturity and peace of mind. 2nd, sometimes no matter how much you want it to or how much love is between you, things just aren't meant to work out. It's like a broken mirror. You may cut yourself trying to put the pieces back together, and even if you manage to do it, you can still see all the cracks in that reflection. It's just simply not meant to be. Now, that's just my 2 cents for you. Okay, y'all, that's going to be all for today. If you'd like to add anything else about what I mentioned today, feel free to comment below. I read all of them. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this 3rd episode of Mama Snout Says. And lastly, but certainly never least, remember, Mom, you are doing a good job. Okay, see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.